this is Wayne, your host as usual, and I'm actually joined tonight by a very special guest. And I got to say, we've got a special guest tonight. You may know him as Charlie from Hammers Chat, and I've got to play a little bit of theme music here because we've got a little bit of London calling here from the neighbourhood. Welcome to the American Hammers West Ham TV. Charlie, how's it going tonight, mate?
Not bad. I like the way you cut it off there before you got copyright striked. I can appreciate that. As
exactly,
a YouTuber,
right?
I can appreciate it.
Well, no, come on. It's not like we've got like 50,000 viewers like you guys have on Hammers Chat. This is American.
I mean,
American Hammers TV.
Let me put it this way: it doesn't matter how many views you've got on YouTube, you will get struck down mercilessly by the algorithm. It does not care how many you've got. But I appreciate it.
Changed it a little bit. Algorithms don't love me. They really don't love me. And of course, and tonight we're with our fantastic one and only fan from New Orleans, the amazing Bradley. How's it going, Bradley, mate?
How you do? Very well. Very hot down here.
And of course, I can't go any further without talking about our incredible sponsor, our one and only sponsor now, because Strava Craft Coffee keeps you up all night, as Charlie probably already knows, because it's like about 2 o'clock in the morning. They're over in
only two. The night
only
is
2
young
o'clock.
We've got plenty of time.
Exactly, because Charlie's a party animal. He'll be up in all hours. For definite. But I've got my drop of Dead Rabbit, which is brewed by the beautiful Dublin Distillery. Hint, hint. Yes, I'm looking for a sponsor, Dublin Distillery. Thank you very much. But of course, it's provided for me in my amazing mug that's provided by drinkwaredesign.com. You can find them in the link down the bottom there. And I can't go any further without saying, check out the link, because we do have these incredible shirts. Yes, Tim, I am wearing the bloody shirt, okay? I'm wearing it, finally. Finally, you can stop pissing and moaning now. I'm wearing the bleeding shirt, okay? You can pick these awesome shirts up, and I understand that Tim's working on skateboards, electric kettles, and refrigerators as well, with the logo on it as well. So please do check out the webpage, which is down in the link down there, so you can get something to do with that. And so nothing more to say other than welcome everybody, and let's get on with this. Let's cook up some West Ham tonight. So Bradley. Let's start off like we normally do. What on earth possessed you to be down there in New Orleans and yet support such an incredibly challenged team as West Ham United?
I have to say I'm a little embarrassed that I'm more of a newbie. I've only been following for 2 or 3 seasons now. But I actually chose to follow West Ham at the worst time. I thought taking on a team that had a lot of fight, was an underdog, and had some champions to beat. So I was researching a lot of teams and seeing what I wanted to do. And it was a conscious decision. I didn't have a father that took me when I was young to a game match. But it was actually after the Burnley game 2 seasons ago. I read this article, and it had Big James Collins there with the beard and the fierce look, and he was pushing away one of the fans, and Noble was on the floor wrestling around, and there was an article that said something like, "We are both boyhood fans of this club, and we'll always die for it." And it really hurt us to see this turmoil out on the field and on the pitch. And it was that dedication to the club and that misery that I said, "This is the team for me."
He's a sucker for punishment, isn't he,
yeah.
Charlie?
I know. I was going to say where you said, we picked a bad time to support West Ham. I was going to go, there's never a bad time. It's always bad. There's never like a good time. But then you said it was after the Burnley game, and I was like, oh, okay, no, I've changed my mind. You picked a rough time. Yeah. That was a rough decision you made there. I can appreciate it though. If anyone saw that and went, that's my team, then you can't not back it. You can't not back it.
Yeah, there's definitely nobody out there that could turn to you, Bradley, and say, oh, you're a glory hunter. You're only like going after them because they're starting to change the team around a little bit now, and there might be a little bit of glory in the future. Yeah. So, I mean, was it the fact that you saw that they like to bit of a dust up and they like to throw pound coins at the owners of the club? Was that what it was that really drew you to them?
It was I wanted to, so in America I'd never been into too many sports, and when I followed sports, it was usually I just became a bandwagon fan of whoever was popular at the moment. So when I wanted to join the Premier League and follow somebody, I said, let me find a club that is not doing well, but that has heart. I didn't want to see these big pound players coming in, coming out, going in, going out. And I saw Mark Noble there since he was a wee lad, a boy, and Collins, as well. And I said, this is who I want to follow. I want to follow people who love their club, who are devoted, who wear that badge, and who so yeah, that's what sold me. It was that love for club that you so seldom see these days. And as I've gotten to know more teams, it's very rare to find,
So that's interesting. I mean, that Burnley was really your first game. How did you come across? I mean, actually watching that particular match, was it you were watching with some mates or?
No, back in college about 10 years earlier, I heard, as an American fan, we don't really know the Premier League or soccer or football at all. It's kind of a non-entity here. We have our American football, our basketball. It's very rare. But I had a couple of friends who, I'd hear, are you going to watch the Arsenal-Man United game? And these names are so foreign to me. I was like, what's United? What's happening here? What's an Arsenal? Is that very ignorant? It's very ignorant American. Like, what is this? And so I started getting into that, and had some friends down at Finn McCool's pub. They would say, hey, on Sunday morning, we could go to church, or we could go to watch the football match on TV. And I was like, okay, well, can we do both?
So you chose church, right?
Well, actually, I'd watch the match, have a couple drinks, and go to church and sit in the second row, just kind of lean forward and act like I was praying after a few coffees. Yeah.
You know what I do? I do this. I go to church like this.
Yeah, right.
That's how I go to church. That's the way I do it. So with the headphones in as well. So
is a drinking town or drinking city. We have any
really
drink or party. Yeah, right. So I don't think they frown on that too much in church. It's more of a way to imbibe the Holy Spirit, I would say.
Gotcha. Now, yeah. Are there many New Orleans fans that are into the EPL down there?
Sadly, at the bar I go to, and this is one of the reasons I'm here, is there's a lot of Tottenham fans in the pools, and the owner even supports Tottenham. Now he gives me my credibility for my street cred for following West Ham, because I'm sometimes the solo guy who goes in there. We got the Liverpool, we got Tottenham, Man United, Arsenal, top 6 teams. I've seen one Everton guy who I at least went and patted him on the back because I was glad he at least came in, and one Newcastle guy. And then I've got some folk from a little place called Bucktown nearby that I've managed to hook up with who support West Ham United. But yeah, it's all at this Irish pub that we all frequent. That it's open at 6 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday, serving drinks and food. Yeah.
So now, what's the name of that place again? Finn McCool's?
Finn McCool's Irish Pub on Bank Street.
And you say it's famous for it's right now. It's full of Tottenham fans. You said, right?
Yeah, they're going there, and I had no personal hatred towards Tottenham because I haven't grown up in West Ham, East Ham, or Essex or anything like that. But the way they sang their chants in the club gave me a natural rivalry towards them. Being the solo guy there, you guys.
Do they have chants?
I was trying to ignore them, so I don't know what exactly they were. But no.
Did you watch the opening of their stadium by any chance? Because I had to watch it because I was just hoping that there was going to be a miraculous open an implosion of the ground or something at the opening of it, and
like the scene in Dark Knight Rises when the whole thing just collapsed inwards, and then everyone that would have been lovely. It would have been awesome. Lovely. It didn't happen on mine, but.
And it's like the songs that they sang were they all sounded like they were ripped off by somebody else from another club. So
well,
I know they had the rip off of the Payet Dele Alli one.
Yeah.
But
not that I give a crap anyway.
To be fair, they're next to Arsenal, who have perhaps even less chance and more boring. They have that one where they just go Arsenal. And it's just enough to send a man to sleep, even me who never sleeps. It's enough to send me to sleep, and that's supposed to be hype. So
it's you're boring as shit. You're boring as shit. It's like that's all they have to do. It's like they're terrible, absolutely terrible. So
It's dire. It's a dire state of affairs when even your chants are boring.
Yeah, the only thing I remember from the opening of that stadium was that the one line they kept singing is that we're the greatest club that God's ever seen, or something like that. And I was like, do me a bloody great favor. I mean, please. No wonder why all of these Tottenham fans I've met are total douchebags.
Yeah.
When you're singing that sort of crap. I mean, that's the sort of thing that even if you are, you don't sing that.
Right.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's like,
that's the one thing I've always liked. Like, no matter who I've spoken to in my everyday life, whenever I mention West Ham, they always bring up the fact that like we don't take ourselves seriously. You get a lot of like, you're nothing special, we lose every week, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even if we're internally thinking we're actually quite good, which we very rarely are, but let's just say we are for the sake of argument, at least we then still have the audacity to be a bit funny with it. We don't have to walk around acting like we're hot stuff when we clearly aren't.
So I think that's a good thing about West Ham as well, and that's why we need to get people down to Finn McCall's.
Yeah,
that's why we do, because just for one main reason. Well, actually, for two main reasons. Number one is you need people to watch the match with that aren't douchebags like Tottenham supporters. Right. Okay, so you need people to keep you company, and there has to be cooler people in New Orleans. That's a cool city. There has to be some cool people that really want to support a team. New Orleans is known for being a cool place with characters that just go out on the edge and just really live life to the fullest. And really, if West Ham's known for anything, it's known for living life to the fullest. Yeah. We don't care. We do what we want. We sing. We have a laugh. It's all about one big happy family. Except when we're not pissing and moaning all the time, which we love to do as well. So we've got to get people down to Finn McCall's and get certainly people who are visiting West Ham. Yeah. So Bradley, do you have yourself up on the West Ham site for those international supporters page yet? You've got to start and do yourself that.
No, I don't have it on the Premier League site. I hadn't figured that out yet. I just created a Facebook page so people can visit that and we can connect on that, which is great. And I got some help from Iron and Stripes, who's a Twitter handle. He helped me create a crest, which has St. Louis Cathedral and some fleur-de-lis in the background with the cross-hammers, and that's exciting. So.
And just keep on pushing at it, mate. Yeah. Keep on pushing at it and doing stuff like this. It's like, I know you're active on Twitter.
Yeah.
And just don't get political on your New Orleans Hammer site. It's like, a lot of people tend to lean off into that. It's my pet peeve. My pet peeve with all of the West Ham supporters over it's like, you got a freaking West Ham group. You want to talk West Ham. Yeah. You don't want to. All right, we've all got our own personal affiliations with politics, but you don't. We've got people in our group who go both ends of the spectrum, but we don't post crap in our group about where we stand on the spectrum because you don't want to stop the person who's on the right from coming to watch the pub with the person who's on the left.
Right.
All that's important is that they go like this. That's all that's important. Yeah. So left crosses right. That's all that's bloody important in West Ham. Yeah. That's all that matters.
And our flag will carry blue and red together. So it's a
serious
combination.
So oh my God, good God. So now have you ever been to the stadiums back home at all, Bradley?
You know what? So I said that I came on in one of the worst times, but the actual first match I saw was the Macclesfield Town game last week, where it was last year was 7-1 or 8-0 or something like that.
Oh, blimey!
Cup game, and then that same week I watched the Man United match. That was my first Premier League match. Was us beating Man United 3-1. So
nice.
It was a great introduction to the team. So it was kind of like I went in at a hard time, but the dividends paid off already. Yeah, beautiful.
Now, have you got into anything of the history of the club or anything? Are you a student of the history of the club, or are you still learning little bits about it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I followed from when we started with Thames Iron Works, and then all the favorites in the 66 and 64 club. And I actually went to see West Brom play Millwall just to see in a cup game that same week, just to see us another team play our classic enemy. Which was great, and we whooped them. And of course, they started fighting West Brom fans, which was just a wonderful experience. Well,
now, did you know between me and Charlie, we know absolutely everything there is to know about West Ham?
I did not.
We do. Go on, ask me a question. Any question?
Who was the highest goal scorer back in what was it, 19? Who's the highest goal scorer in West Ham history?
Okay, I'll let you take that one, Charlie. You know that one.
It was pre-1940.
Yeah, I've no clue.
It's
Fred somebody, wasn't it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was It's Fred. Yeah.
He was.
I don't know. I read it on Wikipedia at some point, but I can't remember for the life of me.
Yeah, you know what's terrible is I mean, as old as I am and as many matches I've seen, I've got the worst memory in the world for things that have happened an hour ago. Never mind, like freaking 40 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm terrible.
Honestly, sometimes I'll come out of a match and I'll go, "Wait, who scored the second goal?" Like it was just like. I honestly have such a terrible memory for that stuff. I can remember vibes of matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you said to me what was the tactics and the vibe of this and that and the other thing, I can remember that. But for some reason, just specific details, straight out of the head.
Yeah.
Never remembering any of them.
I can't either. I've always, when I went to matches, I think there are two types of people that go to matches. I think there's ones that go to matches and they basically they're students of the game and they just soak up every single move. I mean, and I've got friends that will watch a game and they can recite every single move on the ball and say, this was the lead up play to this particular goal. And then there are other people that just remember the roar of the crowd and how it felt. And I'm the latter. I'm the latter. I go and I sing and I get into it and I have a laugh, and that's always been me.
I remember the guy next to me who I didn't know because we'd only won in that was we had the first 4 losses last season, and then we had the Everton game, and then it was the Chelsea game where it was a draw, and then the Man United game where it was one of the most brilliant games of the whole season. So I was just sitting there hugging some bloke right next to me every time we scored, and his daughter kind of giving us the stink eye, like what she's like, Dad's having a good day. Yeah, it was good. Great experience.
Well, I tell you what, we've got to go. We've got a burning question from the chat room right now that a lot of people are discussing, and it seems to be the highlight of discussion right now. And I'll put it up on the screen. They want to know what beer you're drinking, Bradley.
That'd be
Yep. It's a Guinness Extra Stout.
Extra Stout.
It's a man's beer. It is a man's beer. None of that piddly stuff that you drink, Scott Davis. None of that whiny stuff.
Yeah. I've also got, and I wanted to hide this because I didn't want to seem like a super lush, but if Scott Davis is here, I've got a copper cup that I had a Moscow Mule in as well.
Oh, right.
I wanted to go in prepared for y'all tonight. I thought that some extra lubrication might be good.
Well, I very much appreciate that, considering I'm the idiot that's actually starting a new podcast next week. That's actually part of the American Hammers TV network called West Ham is Why I Drink, so which you can all catch next week.
Yeah.
Nice little subtle hint there.
That segue plug was unreal. That was smooth as all hell. Literally, you pull up Scott. Poor Scott leaves an honest question in the chat. You pull it up instantly just to go, I know where I'm going with this. Yeah, that's where I drink. A bit like my podcast that I'm starting next week. That was smooth as all hell. I can appreciate that.
None of it was prepared at all. None of it was prepared at all.
What a setup! Yeah,
it really wasn't prepared at all, Charlie. I haven't prepared anything at all for it being next week. First show going to be on Wednesday, August the 14th, with myself and Adam and James.
You haven't come up with hashtags. You haven't come up with puns. Nothing. None of it's come up with. It's just
nothing at all.
Top of the dome.
Nothing at all. I mean, it's just a bunch of West Ham drunks who are really into their claret and booze, and we're just going to have a bit of a giggle with that, and really that's all it's about. So it's not going to be a show that's about, how can I put it? We're going to have West Ham news in it, of course. We're going to have West Ham news, but the characters that are involved in it are really more chiseled chiseled, or should I say molded, really, because none of us are really chiseled. As we like to put it, we're sort of fatter and fattest. We're sort of molded in the mold of more sort of like Graham Norton, Saturday Night Live meets James Corden.
Nice.
That's really what we are. Yeah. So we've got some games like penalty shot out, and we're stealing something from you chaps, Charlie. We've actually got a Brit Yank mass debate. So
yes, I was in the chat when this got mentioned.
Yes, yeah.
And I will say
this.
this. Just don't think because I'm in England that I'm not going to be litigious about this. I will be. I will contact my lawyers being me, and they will get in contact with your lawyers, which might be you or might not. I don't know. I don't know how law works, but I'm just telling you.
I'm not too sure.
In British tradition, you will receive a strongly worded letter letting you know that I'm not happy about it. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't know, but I think the French started the mass debate first. I really do. I think so. I don't think it would be. I don't think either one of us would win that, because I really do believe the French started the mass debate first. So,
well, there was the whole revolution and all that stuff, but
yeah. So yeah, I really think that was it. But so check us out next Wednesday. And enough of that. You will tune in, won't you, Bradley?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and you'll definitely go and follow us, and you'll do all of that stuff. Because if you don't, I'm going to disconnect you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is why we drink. I think you should have the kickoff episode here in New Orleans, though.
I think we should do a location in New Orleans at Finn McCool's. I think we should do a location recording at Finn McCool's.
You're from Dallas right now?
Yeah, I'm in Dallas. In fact, we're actually going to be recording our first episode. One of our members is going to be in Las Vegas, and he's going to be recording it. He says he's going to be half drunk from his hotel room, nursing a hangover, probably. So So we will be drinking, but anyway, it's about that time. I think we should really have a look and see what's going on in the chat room here. Let's have a look and see what we've got in the chat room.
Potentially less because I'm here and not asking dumb questions.
Well, you never ask a dumb question, Charlie. I do have to say that. It's always a pleasure having you in the chat room, because sometimes you're the only one in there talking to yourself. So it's.
I could talk to myself all night. It's not a problem with me. It's not a problem with me. I'll do it all night.
It's just it's only when you start, answering yourself back that you've got a problem. But we've got Scott Davis in there, of course. Scott's always in the chat room, which is fantastic. Yeah. We love our Scott. We've got Gabe. Gabe's in there. Who else is in there? Okay, we've got Neil from Down Under. Does Neil actually watch your show much, Charlie?
Yeah, he was in the live chat. Was it the one earlier on or yesterday? I can't remember which one. All the days go into one when you don't sleep. But
exactly.
He was in our chat as well.
We've got
he's in all of them.
He's good bloke. Let's see.
Yeah.
Hey, check it out. We've got Brawley on. Brawley, here I am I'm trying to push my podcast, and there's Brawley from the other American podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that we're actually going to get Brawley guest on our podcast as well, and we can get him drunk and see what's going on with that. So who else have we got? We got this guy called Timothy Melican. Who's Timothy Melican?
Never heard of him.
Timothy Melican. He looks very effeminate in that photograph, doesn't he?
Oh, geez.
So,
he looks like the sort of guy who would be super in to not heavy music. I'm saying metal is not his jam.
Yeah, I'd say more like
Enya.
That's the one.
Like
Enya. That's a great.
Enya.
That's an excellent.
Enya, or maybe like Kylie Minogue.
Ooh.
I
can't get you out of my head. It's let's not lie about it.
Music.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Bradley? What sort of music would you say he's into?
Timothy Melican. Maybe. Geez, what's that?
I'm going to go with Kate Bush.
I actually like Kate Bush. I actually had Kate Bush's bum in my face once. Seriously, I did. When I was 19 years of age, I was going for an audition for the Singing Telegram Company down at the Pineapple Dance Studio. This is 100% true. 100% true. If you're watching, you can actually attest to this. I was going for an interview for the Singing Telegram Company down at the Pineapple Dance Studio, and I was sitting on this bench, and there was a payphone. This is back in the days when there was payphones, because I'm very old. Look, very old. And and I heard this very sweet voice behind me. It was so high pitched like this, and I turned around and there was a nice buttocks there, and I looked and I was like, oh blimey, it's Kate Bush's buttocks. And then she sat down and she said to me, she goes, oh, what are you here for? Are you rehearsing? I said, I'm actually going here for an audition for the Singing Telegram Company. And she said, oh, very good luck to you. And I was like, oh, blimey, she looks very sweet, but she had terrible acne. Really did. Really quite interesting.
I can relate.
But she was cute, though. Very cute. Let's see who else is in the room. There's hardly anybody in the room tonight. They must have known. Oh, hang on. We got Wally World. Wally World's here. Go Hammers. Go Hammers.
That's in the Louisiana fashion. That's a Cajun thing going on right there. I think that's a shout out to me. Wow, I've got a fan. I've got one fan.
I was doing it in a pseudo Scottish accent, like go Hammers. Go Hammers.
It's a Cajun thing. It's a Saints thing.
So cool Hammers. Hey, somebody was asking me the other day if Gio's Scottish. Is he Scottish? What do you reckon?
I was Geordie. Wouldn't you say Geordie or maybe Northern Irish?
Yes, that's the thing. A lot of people get it confused, but he is from Northern Ireland. He is a Belfast native. Yeah, so he's right in the centre. I think I don't know exactly where. But he flies over.
Did his family work on the Titanic?
Maybe
his family work on building the Titanic or something?
Potentially. I think that's probably where it comes from. Actually,
like cousin of Bono, maybe.
Maybe. Again, these are all things. Maybe the Edge. Maybe the Edge. But, you know,
I can see that more.
Now, tell me, he always strikes me as a very short fellow. Is he very short?
Yes. He's 4'4".
4'4". It's like Frodo.
He's tiny. It's like Frodo I'm an Ent and he is one of the hobbits. There you go. There's your customary nerd reference.
You just that one out. So you can't tell, yeah.
So you'd be like
the camera.
You'd be like the wizard and he'd be like Frodo.
I'll be Gandalf in that situation.
You'd be Gandalf and be Frodo. So we've got PJ in the house. Hello,
I'm
PJ.
Not a conjurer of cheap tricks. It's great. Nice. He's tiny. He's about 4'4".
Oh, look, Steve Hill says, where's the guy that advertises a coffee before you start the chat? Not seeing him in ages. We don't know where he's at, but we hear he's into Kate Bush and Enya, Steve. Oh. We really do. So he had a hard day at work today, and he was putting together an IKEA desk. It took it all out of him. It really did. So
they're complicated. I struggle with the best of times.
So he'll be on tomorrow night with Gaz. That's okay.
Fantastic.
So who else have we got in here? I think we've touched about everybody here. Oh, hey, you know what? Here you go. That's why Wally World said that. His wife's a Cajun.
All right.
I thought that was a type of food.
You went where my brain went, which was food. That's the first thing. You hear the word Cajun, your brain goes, "Oh, hello, I'm hungry."
I'm very, very heavy. Very, very heavy. I've got another 3 days to lose 6 pounds for my 20-pound weight to raise the money for Isla, and I don't think I'm going to make the 6 pounds in 3 days.
Race, huh? Isn't Scott Davis? He's like 1 pound away from the goal.
Yeah, I've got 6 pounds. I don't think I'm going to make it, unfortunately. So, but I'm trying. Gaz, there you go. And who else do we have? And I think that's about all we've got in the house here. So if any of you guys have any questions, please type them now, because I'm not scrolling back through, because that really wore me out. So, because I'm an old geezer. Scott made his goal. Very good, Scott. Very good, Scott. Yeah. The two guys that really didn't need to lose the weight have lost the weight, and the two chunky geezers, me and James, we're still struggling to get there. It's it's hard when you're as old as me. It really is hard when you're as old as me.
Well, that's why you're one of the chunkier ones, bro.
Seriously.
Listen, I'm trying to lose weight. I don't hit it every single week. Some weeks I go up. It's a struggle, but it's about progression downwards over a long period of time. If you do it all at once, that's not good. That's not good. You don't want to just lose it all at once, because then it balloons back up again. You want to slowly progress downwards.
It is tough. Now to
them up a bit every 12.
Exactly. Now they have good food in Finn McCool's.
Yeah,
Bradley.
They have pub food that they serve. They have salmon French fries. So they're like a
salmon French fries.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing with the special dipping sauce. You have to open up your minds. You have to open up your mind for this.
That sounds like it'd also open up your bowels if you ate one of those things. That's what it sounds like. Salmon French fries. Blimey. I need to lose 6 pounds. I think I should go down and have a couple of helpings of salmon French fries with some of that Cajun spice on it. Oh,
yeah, that's what we got. I love they have iced Irish coffee there, either as iced or actually as like a frozen drink too. So all the ladies who like their frozen margaritas usually go for that with whipped cream and everything. Sometimes they even put claret sprinkles on top if you ask them politely.
Very nice. Very nice. So do you have any West Ham dreams at all, Bradley? Like anything that you want to do with West Ham?
Well, now that I'm 38 and I've never practiced any football, I thought that maybe I could train for 2 years really solidly and join the team, maybe on a free transfer and get in there. And, I had enough heart that maybe Noble would see that it shined through. That was one dream that I've had. So hopefully, dribble around some cones and I can do that.
Have you been following the transfer window at all, Brad?
Yes, not as obsessively as I was last year. Last year, I watched all the YouTube videos and all the songs that went with that, and every carrot I'd watch them. This year, I didn't want to get as hyped or as obsessed as I was. So, the Gomez thing I was following religiously. I thought that would end like the Felipe Anderson, but it did not. But I'm more excited by Haller than I am by Gomez. I think he's wonderful, beautiful. The girl I was dating at the time, I actually would give her morning updates on the transfer window. 6 a.m. I'd call her and be like, "Hey, babe, wanna know what's happening with the morning transfer window?" She'd just tell me what's happening. And I was like, all right, well, we got this new guy here. And I watched so many of those skills and goals highlight reels on YouTube that those stupid electronic music songs got in my head. So I downloaded a whole track. And then I played that when I drove in England visiting various sites because they had all just seeped into my subconscious from following the transfer window. But this one, for a lot of unexpected transfers, I think this window, I was, Fornals I didn't really know about. Haller we didn't know about till the last minute, pretty much. The keepers we weren't really looking into. And even this new Swiss guy that we might get, or Albanian Swiss, didn't know any of them, didn't have any research, weren't following them for a while. And so they've been kind of delightful surprises. And I think even watching Fornals do that bicycle kick assist pass to Lanzini, and that, man, we all make, the goals are always what gets the attention, but do that little quick trick. I think
I can't ever remember seeing that on an assist. Do you ever remember seeing that on an assist, Charlie? Ever?
No, I'm not entirely certain he meant it as an assist, if I'm being fair to the guy. I think he probably just hit it and went, it's either going in the goal or near the goal. Either way, it's good. But I've never seen it. What I was shocked by is because I was at the game, me and Gio went together. He came down from Northern Ireland and we went together, and we were talking after, and I was like, Haller, I think it was as well, at one point tried an overhead kick as well.
Yeah.
And I was trying to remember the last time we saw two of them in a single game from West Ham all teams.
Right.
We can all remember Andy Carroll or a failed one here and there, but two in a single game, that's rare for us. Two new signings, two overhead kicks. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
I know, seriously, it really, I feel really, regardless of where we end up this year, I just feel really good about the form of the team.
I feel really good about the form of the team, and also just like we finally seem to be getting everything together in a place where we can move forward in a really positive way. Because we've got 2 years left of Pellegrini, more if he stays, but 2 years left on his contract. And you've got a lot of these players who are 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, who at that point will sort of be in their prime. And for the next manager, or if Pellegrini decides to say, is going to have a bunch of these hopefully excellent players, all used to playing with each other, all in the prime of their careers, ready to mould and move forward and hopefully step forward, as opposed to usual where we seem to be constantly going from crisis to crisis. We're now in a position where we're finally ready to actually progress, as opposed to just panic and try to cover up the problems.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when you said no, go ahead, Bradley.
Well, I want to know the real question. Do you guys put Noble in your starting lineup?
That's a really good question because I love Noble, but it's been weird not seeing him play the last couple of games. And I know it's still pre-season, but
Yeah.
I don't see how he starts right now. I just don't see it.
I mean, myself and Gio on Hammers Chat made a tactics video that I got uploaded yesterday that you should all go watch.
Yeah.
And in that I spoke briefly about my sort of
We will do.
which is, thank you. If you haven't already, go look it up. I had to drag 2 cameras, 2 tripods, 4 microphones, a sound recorder, whiteboard, all these things to go to Stratford. So please watch it to make my burden worth it. But I think the thing is he's going to play in matches where we need that sort of grit and heart in the midfield. Because as many talented players as we can in there, especially against big teams as well. Imagine Tottenham. I mean, he's playing Tottenham regardless. That's just happening. Even if he's injured, I'm sure he's going to get on the pitch somehow and just 2-foot someone. And I'm 100% fine with that. And I think those games are the ones where we're going to need him. Whereas I'm more confident now when it's not him, it's the whole team in general. But we're not going to struggle against some teams which we struggled against last year. I'm thinking Wimbledon, but also lower Premier League teams who really we could not break down. I've got full confidence we're going to break those down. Even if he is in the side, we've got so many nice attacking players around it. But I think he will play more than people suspect. I especially think he's going to come on a lot. If we're winning, he is coming on. Like, if we're in a winning position and we need to defend it, my God, do you want Noble coming off that bench?
Oh, definitely, because he'll hold on to that lead. Yeah, I can see that too.
The Brighton, I think it was the Brighton game last year where they subbed in Antonio and him at like 70 minutes. He started playing the long ball. It just changed the whole atmosphere. He just kicked it over everybody, hit it to Antonio, hit it to Arnautovic. And having Noble as a super sub was a very interesting dynamic because you always think of him just being there and getting the team moving and kind of being that nucleus to what's happening. But to have him as a super sub was funny. I think as last year too, where everybody was kind of learning how to gel, and Felipe Anderson is like this graceful gazelle, but isn't very strong-willed. So I think he needed to be there to get everybody in line and push them. But now they seem to just be enjoying themselves and playing this free football with Lanzini and Fornals and Wilshere too, who's really become a boss. God, if he could just stay where he's at, I'd love to watch that guy play.
Well, I think that's what everyone's saying is Wilshere, if he can continue playing the way he's playing and stay healthy. I mean, I see him as being a real linchpin on this team this year. But it's, I hate to say it, but can he stay that way? Can he stay that way? I hope to God he can. I really do, because I like the guy. I love the way he plays when he's healthy. But can he stay that way?
Yeah. Well, he hope that now we have enough other attacking players in and around the team who are going to sort of draw that focus away from him a bit. So we've got like Haller, we've got Fornals, we've got Anderson, we've got Lanzini, all these players sort of almost drawing the attention from him that he won't be such an easy target to hack and to try and bully and let's be real, try and injure in a way. I think that now we've got enough people around him that are sort of just as good as he is at some things that people might not be able to afford attention to trying to take Wilshere out of a match or trying to reduce him early on or whatever you want to call it. I think that's a sort of a benefit that we might see, hopefully, because as you both said, if he stays fit, that boy is unreal at times.
Yeah.
I think I'm worried that he's just a player, though, that his mentality is to put a foot in. Whenever you see him, he goes for the challenge. He goes in. He dribbles right up to the defender, and that's what worries. It's like, Jack, you have to back off and get the ball from your feet before somebody comes in, or don't put a foot in, let somebody else. I mean, it's a counterintuitive.
But that's what he's good at.
Yeah,
that's what he's good at. I mean, he's good at dribbling up close, and he's good at getting the balls in that way. I mean, that's what he's always been good at.
It worries me a little bit him playing as like 2 behind the 3 if we're playing 4-2-3-1, which we seem to be going towards. And him and Rice, then naturally he's going to be expected to play maybe slightly more physical than he would be in a 3 in midfield, because he will be one of the 2 trying to stop them coming forward, basically. And putting him in a position where he has to be as physical as possible maybe isn't. I don't want to say it's not a good idea, but it certainly doesn't fill me with joy and happiness, because I just look at him every time he gets touched and I'm like, oh no.
Well, what do you think about Sanchez, the way he's played the last few games? Because I hate to say it, but he's not been appalling.
Mm. He goes in hard every time, which worries me. Like Noble does that sometimes, and that's where we get our red cards. There was that beautiful assist to, was it Diangana or was it, I don't know. He did assist somebody, and I was surprised by his dribbling skills. I don't like to write anybody off and just be cruel, but
I do.
I still don't even like seeing him on the sub bench. So maybe he's got some. And, preseason and, it looks like it takes 4 or 5 games to somebody come off from an injury to actually play well. We saw that with Yarmolenko. Took 4 or 5 preseason games and games for him actually to score those in Everton. And hopefully he's up to, match fitness pretty soon. Sanchez, I don't know if he's going to suddenly be the person we want him to be, or we got to try to move him on.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've gone on to some discussion about other players and what's going on with them. Some of the Hams polls over the last couple of days have actually talked a little bit about players. So let's see if we can find out a little bit more about what they're actually saying in some of these polls here. Let's start off with the first one here. Here, Charlie, why don't you read this one out?
Would selling Antonio, yes, is the answer so far. Would selling Antonio to Palace for 30+ million be good business if we meant that we could bring in the youngsters and get Lanzini on a new contract?
Okay, we know Charlie's answer to this.
You know what? I'll say this. No is the answer. If we sold him for 30 million and then reinvested it wisely, then yes, I think it is a good idea. But just to get Lanzini on a new contract and to bring in youngsters, no. Especially seeing as the fact I don't think we need to sell someone to get Lanzini on a new contract. We've saved so much on wages. We have money there available to do it. It's just a matter of actually getting it done. So yeah, and also all the youngsters are apparently just disappearing on loan to random places, and that's probably not the right time to do it. But yeah, so if sell him to 30 million and to reinvest it wisely, I would be fine with, but I wouldn't be fine with selling him and not replacing him, basically.
What do you think, Bradley?
Yeah, I think there's nobody who offers that pace, and Antonio is this fluke of nature where he's not consistent, but he's so threatening, and I would never want him against us, especially because who would we cover with? Fredericks? I don't know who could match his speed and that irresolute ability to score, and when we least expect it. Yeah, he wasn't good at finishing for September, October, November, but he really fell into his own the rest of the season, and he has the heart, and he does good for the dressing room. So I'd say keep him. I'd say you can't buy that. You can't buy that character, that West Ham love, and that fantastic freaking pace that he has.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I make no secret of the fact that I'm a major Antonio fan. He's my favorite player, and he's also, to me, he's the most frustrating player as well. Yeah. But I love the guy for the heart he brings to the team. I also think he's a handful. And if we didn't have him there, I can't see Yarmolenko as being consistent enough yet. I don't think we've seen enough of Yarmolenko's play to say he could play on that wing spot. I really don't see that. And for what you were saying as well, Charlie, I think we've got enough money to cover right now Lanzini's contract from what we've saved between getting rid of Arnautovic and the other ones that we've managed to lose. And I think it's a downright awful shame if we don't put that money into a new contract for Lanzini now. And let's just get that put to bed. So let's see exactly what they said. Let's put no since we
Wayne as well. Is that trust me, you're going to want to watch that video because I may say something very positive about Michail Antonio this year. I'm not going to say what. But if you go and watch the tactics video, Wayne, after this, obviously watch it after this. Finish watching this first.
You like his hair?
Well, I'm saying I can't do it personally, but it's not a bad dude. It's not a bad dude.
Okay, so we all said no. So let's have a look and see what everybody's at. So everyone pretty much agrees. Okay, so that's a no.
I think he'll actually figure in the Manchester City game because he's our best counter option. When we're bombing up the field, he's the one that we're going to have to face. Even though we want to get into a more possession, free-flowing ball play, he's the guy that's going to take us to that counter-attacking strategy.
Seriously. Yeah. Here, Bradley, why don't you take this one?
All right. There is talk of a new forward joining us, but do we need a forward or one, maybe two defenders? A new forward or one or two defenders?
What do you think, mate?
Depends on what the defensive position is. If we've got 4 central defenders now with this new guy coming on and Rice who can sub into that position, I think we're covered with CBs. Left back is always an issue, but I think Masuaku can hold. We've got Johnson and Zabaleta and Fredericks on the right. So no, I'd say a new forward is definitely, one injury out from Haller, and then we've got Cheech. Hopefully he can get a headed ball and one of our counter pieces, but that's about it. If he can't even sink a penalty kick, I don't know. We only really have Haller right now as a striker, so.
Okay, I'll let you finish this one up, Charlie. I'll jump in here now. I think we need a new forward. I think defensively, I thought the defensive position was sewn up last year. That's what I thought last year was all about. And it seemed to me that it would be nice to have a little bit more depth in the backs. Certainly, I think maybe the left backs might be nice. I think Cresswell's getting on a little bit, although he seems to be playing pretty much okay and seems to be fit and healthy. And I think, I'm really more worried about that right side with Zaba getting on in years, and obviously we need to pick up somebody next year. But I'm very concerned about Chicharito. I don't think we've really got a backup striker there. Obviously, I think we've got enough midfielders that are striking options, but I would like to see somebody that can back up Haller. I really would. What about you, Charlie?
The thing is with Hernandez is he just doesn't suit the style. He just doesn't suit the style of play. He just doesn't fit what Pellegrini seems to want and doesn't fit inside that formation. And that's not his fault. That's just is what it is. I'm comfortable enough with if our striking options were Haller, Hernandez, and Antonio, who I think would play a sort of third choice by default sort of forward. I'm relatively comfortable with that, not massively, but relatively. Whereas I'm less comfortable with our fullback options. But at this point in the window, I'm not certain we can go and get at fullback what we need, because what we need are first choice. Whereas in reality, I think what we need is a second choice striker, second/third choice striker sort of thing, which is what a Yeti, I think he pronounced his name a Yeti or something like that. What he would be, right? So I think in that sense, I would go for a new forward just because I think it's the thing we could get the most value from at this point in the window with the with the budget we've got.
Okay, I think we're all on the same place there. Let's check and see what they say. Most people are agreeing with the new forward. Well, that's rather close. Rather close there.
We've got to add some antagonism into these polls. Something we have to disagree on.
Yeah, seriously, right? Yeah, seriously. I think we're all. I think people are just kind of very calm with what's going on right now. We're also. I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but it's like I don't feel that anxiety that I usually feel going into a season. I usually feel, and that's kind of weird.
At the end of this, and transfer windows early as well, so we've sort of got everything wrapped up. We don't have this overarching sort of like doom and gloom over us about who could be signed, who could get transfer window deadlines tomorrow. It'll be done and dusted. We've got City, which we know we're probably going to lose regardless, so we haven't got that much that much panic about it. We got our business done early, and we got the people we got in are really high quality. So there's not like a huge panic. But I can instill some panic if we need it. If you want a bit of spice, let me know. I can lock it in there. But yeah,
I'm sure I'll panic after Saturday.
Okay, so that's when it's yeah.
Seriously, that'll be time in panic. We'll see the panic then. Okay, so the final Hammers poll for the evening. Let's see. Will we see Josh Cullen in a West Ham shirt again after the club has confirmed his loan move to Charlton for another season? I'm not too sure that we will, to be honest. I'm going to say no. I don't think we will. It's just a gut feeling on my side here. I just don't think we will.
Yeah, I agree. I think his time was 2-3 years ago. He was.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in the preseason. Oh, it might not have even been a preseason. It might have been a European qualifier at Upton Park. And I was like, oh, this boy's got it. There's talent. I can see it clear as day. He's doing stuff that's like excellent. And then he went away for a season, didn't really do much, and then came back again. And I was preseason friendlies again. I'm like, there he is again. It's still there. And then it's just sort of dissipated now. And he's 23. For his own career, I hope we don't, because I think that he's just never. I just don't think he'll make it at that West Ham. There's too many options in that role. I think if Pellegrini doesn't see him now as someone who could step in to replace Wilshere or Noble or Sanchez in case of injury, then he's not. Pellegrini's here for another 2 years. He'll be 25 by that point. It's just not going to happen for him, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame, but it just is what it is.
Yeah.
It is. How about you, Bradley?
I would say no as well. I would say I'd love to see him on the first team. I was thrilled to watch that last match where he was. I guess it was Charlton where they went up and he provided that assist in like the last 10 minutes of the. I was just so thrilled from after watching him get kicked in the mouth and bleeding from it. For us, seeing him provide assist and just thrilled and holding up the trophy. God, I was so excited for him. So I'd love him to be first team. I'd love him to make a crack, but I just don't. It's just against him, which is a sad thing. He's a great lad. He's yeah.
It's just timing, isn't it? It's timing. I just think it's the like Charlie said. I think his time has been and gone.
Yeah, youth players,
and it's sad.
Youth players, it's all about timing. You get the right opportunity, you step in. You look at like Diangana. He was meant to be reportedly he was meant to be behind the pecking order to Holland. Holland gets injured. Diangana steps up, absolutely smashes it when he comes in, and now everyone sees him as a first team regular for years to come after he comes back from his loan move, obviously. And so it's all about timing and momentum. Oxford had the timing and then just couldn't follow it up, whereas other people just never get that chance, unfortunately. And Cullen was one of those who sort of get lost to the wayside of it. Just I hope he comes back like Stanislas did and make it back to the Premier League again, so we can all just watch him play at the highest level, because I like him a lot.
Which I got to.
It would be nice.
I got to see Diangana in that. He was in that Macclesfield match. That was the first one he featured. He debuted, and I literally was watching. I was like, watch that kid move. Oh my gosh. Of course, I had met some people in actually off the Barking Road. I'd met some a family adopted me, because I did not know how to get to the stadium when I went there for the first time. So they I thought they're doing some sort of drug deal, because they're just sitting in their car and I go up to them, can I call your phone somewhere? And I saw the
It's highly likely
on the phone. I saw a hammer symbol on his phone. I was like, you like West? I'm trying to get to this Macclesfield game. So they took me there. We watched the kid. They were all voting for Powell, because they actually knew, I think it's Jack Powell. They actually knew his kin. They're like, oh, Jack Powell's his son, sons of, Ben Powell's son's coming out tonight. It's going to be his first time he's featuring, So that's who they're all excited about. And then I saw Diangana and I was like, geez, he's something. I think he scored that night.
It was funny. We had a group of the youngsters came over to Dallas this last year. It wasn't like an official team. They pulled teams from like the under 21s and the under 18s and they threw an ad hoc squad together. And we followed them for most of the matches they played down here in what they call the Adidas Cup. And got to know some of the kids. And I tell you, there was one kid, that really talented kid, and his name totally escapes me right now, which is a shame. But he had an Andy Carroll top knot. So, but real talented little striker, and it was nice to watch these younger kids. And and you think about and it was sad they got beaten by the Seattle Sounders youth team in the end. And this kid really took it to heart. He was heartbroken by the fact that they got beaten by this Sounders team. And he was a talent. I've got to tell you, he was really a talent. And you could see that he was going somewhere. He was going somewhere. Yeah. But and it's nice to see the kids on the youth side, in the under 23s and in the younger squads.
Wayne, I can tell you've been Americanized by the way you said Adidas.
Yeah, instead of Adidas.
Adidas, come on.
I know, I'm sorry. I've been over here so long. I've been over here 20
crazy.
I think 25, 26 years now. It's
Yeah.
a long time. It's a
That's
very,
literally
very
longer
long
than I've been alive, and it's a disgrace.
time. Seriously, right? I've got underwear older than you, Charlie. I really have.
Doesn't surprise me.
I've probably got underwear that stand up straighter than you as well. It's like, it's just so bloody old and crusty. It's
That's
gross.
also 100% true. I'm a hunch guy. I'm a hunch guy.
Oh, no, I'm terrible. I've always been like that. It's like, I spent half my life working in the casino business. I was hunched over roulette tables and blackjack tables. People say to me all the time, stand up straight. I'm like, I am, mate. So leave me alone. But,
are either of y'all coming to the West Ham Way USA event?
I won't, unfortunately. I just started a new job about 3 weeks ago, so a bit brass it.
Oh, that's a shame.
I heard about it and I was like, oh, that's something I'd go to if I had any money in the entire world. But yeah,
Exactly.
Should be a
Well,
good.
we've got our
with West Ham and other stupid stuff. I don't have any money. What's my name whatsoever?
Seriously. I know they've been bugging me. The lads have been bugging me. Yeah, come on out. And what's his face? John Black, who's organised it, is like, he said, I'm trying to squeeze more tables in there. You sure I can't save you a spot? And I'm like, John, I said, I can't afford it. I cannot afford it right now. It's like I'm wondering about how I'm going to pay the electricity bill. Never mind about how I'm going to go out there. I said, and then there's like all the drinking and everything. My days of drinking like that done. Now it's like a little drop of whiskey in my coffee cup so I can hide it. And I'm done. That way when my 7-year-old goes, Daddy, what are you drinking? I'm like, I'm drinking some juice. Daddy's just drinking juice tonight. So we've got some quick fire questions here, Bradley.
All right.
Are you ready for them, mate?
Let's do it.
Okay, meat pie or apple pie?
Meat pie.
See, okay, Lee, here you go. A second American that's chosen meat pie. We've had 2 Englishmen choose apple pie now. So there. Okay, who's your favourite current West Ham player?
Mark Noble.
Okay, who frustrates you most in the current West Ham squad?
Chicharito.
Interesting. FA Cup, and I've tweaked this a bit, or top 4 finish?
I feel like that's if I answer one way, I won't be a true fan. I mean,
answer the way your heart says. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just your answer, mate.
No, I have to answer the West Ham way, which is be a cup, but I really want to say top 4.
I would pick top. For the record, I would pick top 4. I'll back you on that. I'll pick top 4.
So that's what it's really all about. As an English football lover, the cup is what matters. It's the grit.
I remember when we were at Upton Park and we did a review, or it was either a review or preview, and it was because that last season we had a shot of getting top 4. Up until right near the end, we had a shot of getting top 4, and I vividly remember it was a video with myself, Gio, and someone called Tom Down, who is an absolute maniac, but you love him nonetheless. But I remember them both absolutely berating me because Gio said to me, "Oh, should we get top 4? Should we win an FA Cup?" Because we were both. It was like the opportunity for both, and I went, "Oh no, top 4," and I got destroyed that day. Yeah, but I'll continue to hold that chance. Top 4. I'll back you on it.
So I think it's a tough question. It's a tough question. It really is. It's so I did up it. I used to say top 6, but it's like then it's no question if you say FA Cup or top 6. It's no question at all. No. So I had to up the stakes. So you're both a couple of wankers. I say the FA Cup. Okay. What about West Ham do you love?
I like that it's a blue collar club. I'm a carpenter and now I'm a manager, but I love that it's a blue collar club, and I love that we have fight and grit. Like, you have this, we're gonna still give you a shot. We're still gonna come against you. We're not gonna give up. Fighting.
What about West Ham do you hate?
Cool. Moaners. Too much complaints. You can't have it one way or the other. Or even, they want the owner, okay, so there's the board. You're with the board, you're against the board. But, when people got really upset that they were spending $50 extra or pounds on their season ticket, but they wanted the owners to spend $50 million on a striker. It's like, well, if you want to spend, you have to spend as well. So I'd say people that moan, yeah.
Okay, this makes sense. Now, doesn't necessarily have to be West Ham, this one, okay? What sound makes you happy?
Sound in general? And
Yeah.
everything? This is a trick question, huh?
No, it's not a trick question. What sound makes you happy? If you ask me, it's the sound of, you know what?
Yeah, I probably agree to that.
Going on.
Yeah. It's the other bubbles.
The opening of a beer bottle. That makes me happy. Beethoven's nice. We'll go real classy there.
Okay.
Ooh,
Whoa.
okay.
Okay.
Right.
Everybody,
Jeez.
Bradley is deep. Either that or it's so disgusting he doesn't want to share it. Okay.
Can you be both deep and disgusting?
You can, and we're going to let you prove it on the next one. What's your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
What team do you love to beat?
Oh, Manchester United all the way.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
Me too. I love beating Man U. Okay, name a player, past or present day, that epitomizes West Ham United.
Billy Bonds. Is that too easy an answer?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one, mate. It is. Now, here's one to make you think a little bit here. If you could take a time machine back to any West Ham United moment or any West Ham United experience, where would you go?
Easy. Last game at the Bowen. I wasn't following them at that time, so I missed out on what y'all went through. I missed out on the sadness and the anguish and the joy, and I wish I could experience that. You know, the roar of the crowd and the header off of Reed, and yeah, I've seen it in what's that video they call, like Iron Men or Men of Iron or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's the moment.
Yeah, it was a truly magical experience. I got to experience it with my mates in the pub over here at the Dallas Hammers, and I spoke to my buddy the other day who said to me that his heart just isn't in it anymore, and he feels like the team's been ripped away from him, and he just genuinely just isn't interested any longer. And I just want to tell him, if he happens to be watching this, that we're still there for you, mate. And when you feel like your heart's back in it, you know where we are. We're your family. And you just have to call us, text us, message us, and whatever you need, we're there for you. And you know who I'm talking to.
Amen.
Nothing has changed. We'll still lose against teams we should beat. We'll still somehow rock up and beat Man United for no reason. Don't worry, it's still all the same. It feels like it changed, but I promise you it didn't. We're still just as terrible as we were before, just muddling through.
Unbelievable. It's still the same, isn't it? It's just a different surrounding. It's a different surrounding.
Yeah.
So Charlie,
whereas, of course, the correct answer to go back in time to, by the way, is to see that one moment Jordan Hubel got subbed on that one time. Oh, what a moment. Made my heart flutter. What a boy. All day, all night. It's just, I'm not over it.
What was it, 2 minutes, 10 minutes?
Listen, it felt like it lasted forever. What a moment. I'd go back in my head every 5 seconds.
I just can't wait to go on for all them bubbles.
He never got to walk out with the bubbles. It's a disgrace.
It's so sad, isn't it? It's sad.
And he's already scored with QPR. His first,
of course he did.
First match, yeah.
First game, goal, no worries.
Do you think he went home that night and he got his girlfriend to blow bubbles for him?
Maybe. He went back into the changing room and they blew it as he walked back.
They blew bubbles for him. They went like this. So Charlie, what are you up to? What have you got next on your thing? Anything you want to bump up apart from us watching that video that you loved all that gear down at the park for?
Oh yeah, everyone go watch that tactics video, because again, I can't stress. At like 6 o'clock in the morning, I left my house carrying 2 cameras, 2 tripods, 4 microphones, 2 XLR cables, a Zoom recorder, a whiteboard, magnets to go on the whiteboard, all the markers, the whiteboard. Like, I carried a lot of stuff to Stratford for that day, for that thing. So please, bloody hell, go and watch that goddamn video.
We'll go watch that video.
Are you able to type that into the chat? The link in the chat?
I won't, like, American Hammers can put it on there if they want to, but if not,
Okay.
just go to Hammers chat. It's the second last video on there.
Okay.
We have.
We'll find it. We'll add it on. Tim's watching this. Tim, find it and add it on for us.
Sweaty back appreciates it because that backpack was heavy. Yeah, we've got a preview for Man City going up tomorrow at 8:30 live. I'm on that. We've got our season preview on Friday as well, which I'm halfway through editing at the moment, which will be going up on Friday at 8, I think it is. Yeah, so that's all that's going on with me, West Ham wise, and then always being in the American Hammers chat to drop some stupid questions. I've got plenty in my brain. They'll be every chat. Don't worry about it.
And we love them. We absolutely love them. Thanks so much, mate, for coming on tonight and substitute hitting for my buddy Lee. Really appreciate it, mate.
Good to meet you.
Absolutely awesome. Bradley, anybody you want to shout out to out there? Anybody that you desperately want to say, ha ha ha, look at me?
No. I'm just happy to be here. We're happy to be here. Thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for joining us all together. It's a great thing. So hopefully I see anybody at West Ham Way USA event.
Well, we hope you have a great time there. And remember, it's Finn McCool's, the greatest little pub in New Orleans.
Yep.
And you're there drinking when West Ham's playing. So check out Bradley at Finn McCool's. I want to say a big thank you to Charlie. Big thank you to Bradley. Thank you to American Hammers TV for giving us a forum to always have fun in. A big thank you to drinkweardesign.com for these incredible mugs. Go and order your scarves and your shirts and stuff at the link below, because we're going to do some really cool things. And the next show, which will be, let me see here, I'll put the old thingamajig up, the old banner up, because we've got our next show, which is, it's not Fantasy Premier League, is it? Where are we here? I don't even know what the next show is. Next show is, the next show's not here. The next show is actually going to be tomorrow night, and it will be Gaz and Tim, and they're interviewing, I can't remember what the chap's name, but he's from Spokane, Washington. Is it Kevin, Tim? Who is it? Can't remember who it is, but he's from Spokane, Washington. And then, of course, we'll be having more shows over the weekend. West Ham and Eggs, hopefully, on Saturday morning. I'm still waiting for a group from the East Coast to volunteer to be online with me at half an hour before kickoff. So if you feel like you're ready to do that and share what you're having for breakfast and what your prediction is for the match, I'll be ready to rip you to shreds and show you that Texas has better breakfast than you have. And there's really nothing left to say other than come on, you Irons.
On your Irons.
Have a good one, chaps.
Thank you very much.